You know what? No one ever uses Pact of the Talisman. Let's do a build that revolves around it. That's how I started this build. But I am more excited about the flowers that came from that root than the root itself. We end up being this really cool mobile blaster. I think it's a very fun kind of warlock to play. And I don't think I've done a build like this yet. And it has a ton of flavor potential that I think I'm going to lean on you guys to give me some cool stories to run with. So let's jump into it. We're gonna be an Air Genasi. After that, we're going to be going Warlock, and we're gonna be going straight Warlock. I think Warlock is one of those classes that gets subclassed all the time. So I particularly like not subclassing it and taking it as far as I can when I can. So at level 1, we're gonna pick up Eldritch Blast and Hex. We are gonna be an Eldritch Blaster. We're not leaning away from what Warlocks are normally good at. We're definitely leaning into it. We're gonna be the Ifrit Jinn, and we're gonna do solid damage right outside the gate. We have our Hex, we have the Eldritch Blast, and then we have the Ifrit Jinn piling on extra damage on top of that. Air Genasi gives us Shocking Grasp, so it gives us an option for when we are put into melee, because normally we're definitely gonna wanna be kind of an archer, but in certain moments now we have Shocking Grasp to get us away, and then we have the 35-foot movement speed to get more than 30 feet away so they can't just run after us and attack. So Air Genasi makes us a great kiter. At level 2, Agonizing Blast is an absolute must. You can do whatever you want with your other invocation, because at level 3, we're gonna be picking up Pact of the Talisman and Rebuke of the Talisman. Now, why did I take Rebuke of the Talisman? The main reason is not the defense it gives. I think a lot of people think of Rebuke of the Talisman as just something to push people away and hopefully you get some value out of that. But that's not the way I'm seeing it. The way I'm gonna be viewing it is it's just weaponizing our reaction. Warlocks notoriously don't do shit with their reaction, and this is one of the few ways we can weaponize it, and one of the few niches that Pact of the Talisman has. And sometimes, yes, it's going to interrupt an attack and knock them off an edge, or sometimes they're going to be out of movement so they can't finish their multi-attack. Those are just bonuses. The main thing we're doing is trying to get as much damage as we can. We're ultimately a blaster, and now not only are we just doing damage with our attacks, now we get to do this weaponized reaction. A quick note about Rebuke of the Talisman is we only get value out of it if our allies are being attacked, so we want to give it to our tank or somebody who's going to be in the front lines and try and get the most value using it that way. Another note is you have to be within 30 feet of the attacker, so you have to be really careful about your positioning because you need to be close enough to your ally to get Rebuke of the Talisman going off, but also to be far enough away that you can't be attacked. If you have to choose between the two, choose not to be attacked. On top of that, Pact of the Talisman is going to allow us to give it to the person of the hour. I don't know if you guys have seen the Count of Monte Cristo, but they say you're the man of the hour and they give them the chess piece. I like that. And that's kind of how I think about it is, okay, our rogue is about to go on an infiltration mission. You're the man of the hour. Here you go. Or our bard is about to go speak to a king and we need his charisma absolutely banging. You're the man of the hour. Give them the talisman. So on and so forth. Whenever somebody is the man of the hour, they're holding that talisman to use its effects to make their skills shine. At level 4, we're picking up Fey Touched, of course, rounding out our charisma with it, and then we're going to be picking up Bless. The reason I like picking up Bless with Warlocks is that because we have such limited spell slots, it allows us to have a fight-winning spell that we can weave in once a day along with our limited spell slots. But not only that, it has awesome synergy once we hit level 7 and we get the Protection of the Talisman feature. That way we can really double up on protecting our allies' concentration. So if we have a wizard who we just absolutely need to have stellar concentration, we can use Bless to give that to them in combination with our talisman, which is some cool synergy. Oh, and we get Misty Step. That's good too. At level 5, we get Fireball, and I seriously doubt I'm going to be casting much of anything else. I really wanted this character to be a blaster, so I'm not going to be focusing on Hypnotic Pattern, control spells. I just want to use Fireball to blow up crowds of people and to use Eldritch Blast to blow up single target people. That's kind of what I do. Something else is we get Levitate from being an Air Genasi at this point, and Levitate has some really cool synergy with Eldritch Blast, because say there's a melee fighter who wants to stab you to death, you can just pick them up in the air and then just slowly whittle them away with your Eldritch Blast while they're stuck up there. I really like that. You also can use it as budget fly for yourself, which is, you know, only going to matter at level 5, because level 6 and beyond, we actually get a good fly. But during level 5, maybe you want to float up in the air so you can't even be attacked by melee people. So it has a lot of flexibility. It's a really good spell. All right, level 6, we can fly now. Fly, turns out, is pretty good. Oh, and we also get a resistance to fire damage on top of it. Everything is solid here. Especially being a ranged blaster, fly gets even better. Like, fly is incredible for a ranged blaster. Melee people are going to have a hard time even attacking you now. It takes you from good to great. At level 7, we get a new invocation. I'm going to be taking Protection of the Talisman, like I said. Because Protection of the Talisman is about saving throws, and we're probably going to be putting it on our caster for concentration saves, that means we really don't need it on our tank anymore. So I'm going to let go of Rebuke of the Talisman and pick up Grasp of Hadar. Why do I want Grasp of Hadar? Well, now that we can fly, we can grab people from off the ground, lift them up 10 feet in the air, do a bonus d6 of damage, and knock them prone. So that's a lot of value that we can get off of every turn of our Eldritch Blast. We can just not be knocking people prone in front of our tanks. So that's very powerful there. It is worth mentioning that it's all saves that we can help. So maybe you have a barbarian who struggles with their wisdom saves. Maybe we give them the talisman instead, because the wizard has been super optimized and really doesn't need help with their concentration saves. So there's some balancing to be done here. Now, let's say we don't have some melee allies. Well, we can create one by picking somebody up and then dropping them next to a Despair Shadow Spawn, for example. It's going to give your Despair Shadow Spawn advantage on their attack on the turn right after you. So you're making them stronger. But not only that, it puts the enemy in a really really weird position where they're prone and they've lost 20 feet of movement. Depending on how your DM rules it, that means they're not going to be able to get up, or they're only going to be able to get up, and that's all they can basically do with their movement that turn. So you're really controlling that one target, and it's another option for us to use. Instead of focusing on just straight damage, now we can focus on kind of sustained damage and control if you don't think a single blast is going to be enough. So what are we? Well, we're primarily a blaster, and we're a good blaster. We have options for crowds, we have options for single targets, and we have the mobility with the fly to really get the most out of it. But that's not all we are. We also minor in support, and with our summon, we minor in a little bit of control. But overall, I'd say we're a blaster that minors in support. We help our team's saves, and we help their skills, and at some points, we help protect them by pushing people away. As for flavor, I think there's a lot of cool contrast between being an Air Genasi and by taking the Efreet Pact. I think there's a lot of storytelling to be had there. Tucker, for example, my right-hand man, said that he likes the flavor of the Efreet wanting the Air Genasi because the air makes fire stronger and having some sort of relationship there. But what I want to hear is what you guys would do with that story. I want to hear more ideas of how to make the Efreet Air Genasi flavor really, really get spicy. So let me know in the comments down below. If you guys didn't know, we have a Patreon. If you guys want to support us and show us some love, go ahead and check us out there. We would really appreciate it. And other than that, hope you have yourselves an amazing day, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you, love you, bye.